Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, the Mixed Martial Arts Show is back.
Bow, 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 bow! You better believe it. Elbows are in at the moment. You know what I mean? That's how you shake someone's hand now. Have you done that to someone yet? An elbow?
Yeah, it's weird, no?
Yeah, it is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, how much do you rub off each other? That's the question.
Yeah, true. Fight Island. It's here. It's happening again tonight. Like, unbelievable, no?
Man, and it's so good. Pete's loving it. But I have to start off, right? Last week's show, myself, Ian, and Ross did the show. Myself and Ross ended up getting 7 right, and Ian got 5 right. But I was disputing, saying that I should have won because Ross backed Yuri to be Volkan, and that leveled it out. But you know what I mean? Like, these things happen, man. These things happen.
Man, you backed Volkan. You said you've seen him more, and you thought he was going to win.
I know. He actually was winning at one stage.
Man, winning a 7-minute fight doesn't say a lot.
I know, man. Yeah, especially when you're like...
I was winning until the first punch was thrown.
Man, this is why we love doing these shows. Fight Island was back, man. Obviously, we do our shows every Wednesday. We'll see how that changes in the future. But there is certain things we want to go over. Obviously, we're not going to go massively into depth about the cards. I'm sure other people have broken it down. But we are going to discuss the winners and who they could face next. Also, there is UFC on tonight as well. So we're just going to be briefly looking over that card as well. Because if you end up watching this tomorrow, you're going to be like, oh, I know the results. And there is also UFC on Saturday as well. So we're going to be going over all the good shit. Roscoe.
Basmo, I think what we should do is we should discuss the fights on the main card of UFC 251, and then we'll say who everyone's going to fight next after we've discussed the fights themselves.
Okay. Right, but then we start off with Paige Van Zandt versus Rebus.
Yeah, Amanda Rebus went in there, made a big statement, getting the armbar win. Obviously, attacking Paige's arm, who has had that previously broken and has had multiple surgeries, I think, on the one arm. I don't think her first surgery was successful. Paige is now out of the UFC. Rebus is looking like a top contender down in strawweight. So, fair play, Amanda Rebus.
Yeah, do you know what? When Paige got in that head and arm choke, I was like, because like we know her arm is like it's not a 100%. Yeah, and I'm sure that went through her brain straight away. Yeah, obviously now Paige is out of the UFC. It mightn't be forever, but there's something about when you're watching fighters, like you can tell Rebus is a murderer, and Paige is just like she's too nice. I just believe she's. Like I believe that she got into MMA for like the health and the fitness and the being part of a team, and then she won and then got pushed because she's so good looking. But when you're up with their big dogs, you're with some actual certified killers.
Yeah, great win for Rebus all the same though, and hopefully she can grow her career on the back of Paige Van Zandt.
I'm sure that's what's going to happen. She's also very good looking as well. I didn't know that. So that could be.
It's almost like the passing of the torch, one in, one out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like in fairness, how long would you say on average career would be in the UFC?
I think like the average career is about 4 fights long. You know what I mean? Because so many fighters have like 2 fights and they're gone. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
But you know what? Paige Van Zandt, like she sort of talked about how she wasn't making a lot of money, and how I think she only made like 48 grand for this fight. Off the UFC, but like she's made so much money off the back of the UFC and her name, like Dancing with Stars, like that was because of the UFC.
Yeah,
and she's done a very good job making her own money outside the cage, which is a lot to be noted for. But everyone's so quick to bash the UFC and like they don't pay the fighters well, and we're not going to sit here and go UFC pay the fighters incredibly well because they don't pay them a fair amount. But what they do is they give a massive platform to people like Paige Van Zandt go and get the job done. And like she's made, I can only assume, millions off the back of it.
Yeah, exactly. And then where does she live again? Denver? No.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh no, Oregon.
Yeah, near Charles Summon. So
yeah,
like she's not living the high life, glitz and glam in LA. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So like, fair play to her. Look. I wish her all the best. Who knows? Maybe she'll find Bellator and come over to Dublin.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll see her again. Be like, oh, Paige, our mate.
And Austin, shout out Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, also in the build up to that shit, people are just writing mad messages to her saying like just mad sexual things and
were they?
Yeah, and like Austin
on Instagram or Twitter?
Like to everything. And it just sort of like gives the fans a bit of a bad name. I know it happens in football as well, I know, but it's more racism rather than being like, Wayne Rooney, you're so good looking. But when you start like sexualizing, I know I said she was good looking, but like when we talk about that, I mean like she
marketable.
Yeah, marketable. You know what I mean? I don't know, just sending them all these like vulgar messages. It just makes them Mayfires look like absolute creeps. So shout out Jay Cadwell for sending them messages. No, I'm joking. What's next for Rebus, Ross?
We're doing that at the end, man.
Oh, very, very end?
Yeah, we're going to do all the fights and then the end.
Okay, so myself and Ross and Ian all were correct that Ian got that one wrong. Ian thought Paige was going to win. But myself and Ross...
You're going to hear a lot of that.
Yeah, myself and Ross thought Rebus was going to win. We're going to the next fight. Jessica Andrade lost Rose Namajunas by decision. Rose after getting that win back. What you make of that win, Ross?
Rose Namajunas is actually so, like, beautiful to watch. I don't mean in terms of her looks this time. Like, her footwork is incredible. Her movement, the way she pops out that jab. I think her jab might be one of the best jabs in all of MMA, regardless of gender. She got the job done. Andrade actually looked quite good in this fight as well, I'm not going to lie. She sort of had a lot of head movement going on, but it was also just bobbing the head, as opposed to there was very little coming with the bobs, if you know what I mean. So, like, there needs to be more output with all the head movement going with it. She did very well in the third round. She changed around and she won the third round, but it wasn't enough. Rose Namajunas, she got the nod there. Massive win for her to get that one back, especially considering she lost her title to Jessica Andrade. So fair play to Rose. Big fan of her work as well. Pat Barry, well done in her corner, getting her ready for this one. On the Rose, and you know what? She's also someone who's like severely struggled with her mental health and stuff like that. So it's great to see her back in the win column and doing what she loves.
Yeah, Jesus, that was a bit touching there. Myself, yourself, Annie, and all thought Rose's win. I specifically have written down here a decision from you as well, so you got that one right. Then in the first title fight that we're going to discuss, first of all, what a fight. Peter Yan defeating Jose Aldo in the 5th round by TKO. Ross, what did you make of this fight? And second of all, what you make of the ending?
Okay, so 2 parts about this fight. I actually thought Aldo looked very, very good in this fight for the first maybe 3.5 rounds. It was a bit strange because I don't know if I was going to say he was winning, but I thought maybe he was 2-1 up after 3 rounds. I thought Yan won the first round, and then Aldo won the second and the third. Yan landed that big shot at the end of the first round, which stunned Aldo and nearly had him out there. But I thought Aldo came back. It was quite strange when they were landing their shots. Like Aldo would land like a good combination with a body kick, and you'd be like, "Jeez, that was slick by Aldo." But when Yan landed, maybe something even slightly less than Aldo did, I thought it did more damage to Aldo. I thought Aldo's years weared on him in that fight.
Yeah.
And I thought as the rounds went on, especially the end of the 4th round, when Yan landed those big shots, I mean, Jose Aldo was coming out half KO'd in the 5th round. And then when Yan sort of, took him down, knocked him down, and then it was a merciless beating, wasn't it? It really, really was. I think it went on for about 50 seconds too long.
Yeah.
Again, referee Leon Roberts, probably going to come under a lot of criticism, but at the end of the day, this is Jose Aldo, a man who's fought more 5-round title fights than potentially anyone else in the UFC roster to date. He is an absolutely incredible champ, and he was trying his best to give him every opportunity to be in there. He also was trying to move position and defend themselves, but the strikes were coming in too hard and too fast.
Yeah, I agree with them coming in too hard, but then just when the ref was about to stop it, they moved position. It was sort of like you needed that like more rapid punches rather than like the 1, 2, 3 like a referee in WWE. You needed more like bang 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 and then like off.
Look,
But,
it definitely did go on a bit too long. But look, Peter Yan made a massive statement there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I was a Peter Yan believer going into that fight. Did I pick Aldo?
you picked Aldo.
Yeah. Oh, because his last big win was off Uriah Faber. He obviously knocked out Uriah Faber. Hard thing to do. But if you put the two resumes against each other, I was almost saying that Aldo's split decision loss, or a lot of people thought Aldo won to Moraes, was more impressive than Yan beating Uriah Faber. That's the way I sort of viewed it. So that's why I favoured Aldo. Aldo had some moments of class in that fight.
You did.
I don't think he's going to retire, but I'll look forward to seeing him get back in there. But again, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, the wear and tear definitely set in as the fight went on. I think at the beginning, Jan was giving Aldo a lot of respect, which you can understand because, like, obviously Jan trained with Aldo years ago and he'd look up to him. He used to be also a featherweight champion, so a division above for people that didn't know. But as Jan got into it, his like combinations and sort of trickery, the way he can give like the spinning elbows.
Also, shout out to Peter Yan's striking coach, who's actually Irish. He trains out of Tiger Muay Thai over in Thailand.
I thought he was Northern Irish. He had a real.
Well, yeah, Northern Irish, but like he's an Irishman. He's a proud Irishman.
Yeah, I know. I actually noticed that as well. I was actually meant to bring it up in the last show because I saw him in bed. So I was like, "What?" Because Jan doesn't even speak English, really. But as time went on, you could tell years of combat action were weighing in on Aldo. But what are you drinking, man?
Cup of tea, man.
Such a lie, man. But man,
an Irish cup of tea.
Yeah, Jan's the real deal, man.
He is. Jan is the real deal,
man.
I was impressed. It's Jan Island.
Oh, that was great. It was great to see. That was a proper fight. I had it down for my fight at night. I didn't win it, but it was a great fight to watch. So in that one, I thought Jan would win, and Ross and Ian both thought Jose Aldo would win. But then we go into the co-main event of the evening. Alexander Volkanovski defeated Max Holloway. Ross, this went to decision. This was so.
Did he though? Did he really defeat him?
Let's get into it, man. Oh, here, Joe. I'll tell you first what I think, and then you get into it because you know the real deal. Watching it back, I thought Holloway was 2-0 up, and I was like, "All right, cruising." Then the third one was a bit like Volkanovski I think he sort of robbed it with a takedown. Because you have to look at how he won, you know. Then the fourth one, I think he won that as well. And then the fifth one, he won with the takedown as well. I was actually like, Volkanovski won that, but I'm sort of like, you could give it either way. I don't think it was robbery for a head.
No, I don't think the term of robbery, the robbery term is thrown around so lightly these days. And I was like, he was robbed. Well, I think the two most decisive rounds in the fight were round 1 and 2, where Holloway dropped Volkanovski twice.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. So he won like by a distance almost.
Yeah, as in like they were obvious rounds. It was like Max Holloway, El Champione in the first 2 rounds, right? And then round 3.
Is that a Jericho AEW reference?
No.
Oh,
El Champione.
Chris Jericho calls himself El Champion in AEW.
No, El Champione.
Shout out Sean O'Kelly, you'll know that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And then round 3, I scored it for Max personally, but like if you scored it for Volkanovski, whatever. I thought round 4 was actually more definitely Volkanovski, and I thought round 5 was closer again. Obviously, I think a lot of people go round 5. It's because Volkanovski like finished on top of Max Holloway, and that was your like leaving image of the round.
Yeah, but also the round. Yeah, but the round's not over till it's over. It's like United. Like Lindelof nearly got man of the match, and then because he didn't mark Michal Obafemi, someone said Obafemi Martin's his son. He didn't get man of the match, so it's not over till the fat lady sings, as one would say. And
I know, yeah, but like I think a lot of times in MMA recently, people way too heavy on a takedown. But a takedown should only count as something if you do something with the takedown.
Yeah, but this comes down to the refs as well, Ross, as well. You know what I mean? The refs are like,
the judges.
Judges.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's on top. Shit.
Well, I was listening to weighing in with Big John McCarthy and our mate, Josh, the Punk Thompson. And John McCarthy said he wrote the MMA rule book and he knows who won the fight with the criteria, and he says Max Holloway definitely won that fight.
I'm not saying Volkanovski definitely won the fight. I'm not saying Max Holloway definitely won the fight. But because I knew the result going in and watching, it's almost easier to watch then, you know? Because when
You're sort of watching it saying like, yeah, point for Volkanovski, point for Volkanovski.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you're watching a 5-round fight, when you're going into it, you never really think it's going to go to decision. You know what I mean? You never really, like when you're watching a football match, you never like draw. You're like hoping one will win. You know, you're like, hopefully this is a draw, lads. So it's all of a sudden in the third and then the fourth round, you're like, oh shit, who's actually winning the rounds? You know, then you're sort of trying to remember, because I don't write down like round one, like, because obviously I'm not the judge. I wanted Max Holloway to win. You wanted Max Holloway to win. I think they're going to have to do it again at some stage, because this chapter is not finished, because both fights Max Holloway could say he won. But look at the way Dominic Reyes, he lost to John Jones, and he could be the current heavyweight champion.
Yeah, but you know what I saw a lot of online? Or to be the champion, you have to beat the champion. You know what I mean? You have to beat the champion decisively.
You say that all the time.
No. No, I don't.
Is that not the tattoo you got in Creed 09? The leavings are all there.
No, but like I'm just like you should be able to, you know, win 3 rounds and lose 2 rounds against the champion, and then be like, you're the winner. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have to like blow the champ out of the water to get the job done. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like at the end of the day, going into the fight, the judges shouldn't be like, well, he's the champ. They should be like fighter A and fighter B.
But they also know who the UFC want to hold the belt. Like during the fight, you can see like Steve Austin was tweeting, like Tyler Murray. Kyler.
I don't know who.
The Falcons, the quarterback, the small guy.
Matt Ryan.
Oh.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The NFL
Kyler
players
Murray went number one in the draft last year, quarterback.
Okay, I didn't see the draft last year.
Okay, says your man who owns the Madden franchise. But yeah, like the most famous of like Travis Barker from Blink-182. These were all
the celebs are tweeting
from Max Holloway. They were like, "Oh, Max Holloway."
But obviously, Max Holloway is nice.
Kyler Murray. Yeah, Arizona Cardinals quarterback.
Man, you were saying the Atlanta Falcons, man. Matt Ryan. Let me down, man.
No, that's a touchdown. But yeah, like Max Holloway, like obviously he's best mate to Drake. Like, I mean, you wanted Holloway to get back in this, and then
yeah, but he wasn't letting Drake take a photo before the fight.
No, Drake wasn't. He wasn't playing a gig at Abu Dhabi. But well, like what happens from here on out, Ross? You know, I mean, like obviously, I don't think you could call it a robbery, but going into the fourth round, Max Holloway was definitely winning 2-1, according to the majority of the fans. What happens?
Yeah, but some had 3-1. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think
I can see it both sides.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that after we discuss the main event.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Kamaru Usman defeated Jorge Masvidal in the ultimate foot stamping competition.
Sorry, in the Volkanovski Holloway fight, we both, me, you, and Ian, all thought Volkanovski would win as well. Okay.
Yeah, well, I feel like I should have got that wrong.
I should have got that right and then won the whole competition.
Stop! It's shocking, isn't it? What did you make of Kamaru Usman's foot stomping fight against Jorge Masvidal? I think he did something like 90 foot stomps. It was the most amount of foot stomps in UFC history. The amount of memes I saw of like a bruised foot saying Jorge Masvidal's foot the next day.
Yeah, because when you're looking at Masvidal after the fight, he's barely any marks on him. No, he didn't interview.
Well, he sort of had a big mark on his head.
Yeah, but after doing 5 rounds with the champ, it wasn't like.
It wasn't absolute
head in the blender
annihilation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
it wasn't Joanna Jacek versus Weili Zhang.
No. Oh my god. But touch wood. But Ross, going into this, obviously Masvidal had to do something major. 6 days notice against Usman, who's like, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The best in the division. It's gonna be rock hard to get the belt off him because he knows how
He's a grinder.
Yeah. It's not pretty, but
No.
it's
Very effective.
But it's very effective, and it's going to pay the bills. And he's 32, 33 now, I think it is. And he hasn't got much longer left, but he will do if he stays at that sort of rate. And when you're the champion, you need to be. Someone needs to come in and beat you. And then looking at that list now, I don't know who can come in. Ross,
Usman's probably making a cool milli every fight. You know what I mean? And like he's taking very little damage.
You think he won many fans after that?
Absolutely not. I don't think there'll be people clamoring to buy the pay-per-view either, his next pay-per-view. But as you said, look, he got the job done.
Yeah.
He was very effective in the clinch. I was very impressed with Jorge Masvidal's takedown defense and his ability to get back up to his feet. But at the end of the day, Usman, I'm going to say Usman'd him. I saw a lot of people say Usman ragdolled him, but I think he only got like 5 takedowns in the fight, and he didn't hold him down for like 5 rounds. He wasn't throwing him around the house. He was sort of just holding him up against the fence, doing his foot stamps. Look, that was enough to get the job done. Fair play to Usman, but I think if Jorge goes about and he wins 2, there could be a rematch down the line at some stage. You know what I mean?
No.
But Barry, what did you think of the fight?
I'm so disappointed that Masvidal didn't win. I know the cards were totally stacked against him, but like as a fan, I just wanted it to be Masvidal won, and then obviously I want the Holloway to win as well, so you get the stars back holding the belts. But it was very disappointing as well because no one, even in the build to the fight, no one was really watching Usman interviews. No one really gave a shit what Usman said. No offense to Usman, because like in fairness,
I think in the post-fight interview on ESPN or wherever it was, Kamaru Usman's post-fight had 300,000 views on YouTube, and Jorge Masvidal's had 2 million.
Yeah, I remember Ben Askren slating Usman saying he's retired and he had 500,000 on ESPN, 500,000 views, and Usman had like 170,000. But like, I mean, I even think people are bored of us talking about Usman right now as well. There's nothing about him. There's nothing about him that you're like, I really like. Like, I mean, obviously what he's done with his career is brilliant. Like, and I appreciate watching someone striving to work hard. It's just, remember he was like, I only fought 70%. I only fought 20% in this fight.
Yeah,
this, that, and the other. I think for us doing these shows and then having to stay up till like 5, 6 a.m. in the morning for a foot stomp session, you're like, it ruins. First of all, it ruins.
You know what? He might actually end up putting himself lower on the card. You know that?
Yeah, I think that's definitely.
As in, like, if Sean O'Malley became bantamweight champion, he'd go up ahead of him. He'd be below Khabib on a card just by his weight class.
Yeah,
you know
he's actually less impressive than Tyron Woodley. He's somehow eclipsed Tyron Woodley.
Yeah,
for not wanting to see him. And I feel harsh saying that, but like, and I'm sure he's a great guy with his family and everything, but you want to see excitement. Like the Jan Aldo, like, gave you everything you wanted and more. You know what I mean? It really lived up to Holloway Volkanovski went the whole 5 rounds. They both went for it. It was great to watch, and then it's just like pitters out.
Yeah, really did. Really did.
So Ross,
but Basmo, we're now going to move into the new segment of the show, which I love, and it's going to be called What's Next?
I think Bisping does that. There's not the real Bisping thing. Okay, what's next? Yeah, for it.
So we're going to start off in the strawweight division. Obviously, Paige Van Zandt, she's probably going to go to Bellator.
Yeah.
Amanda Rebus. I see her maybe fighting Tisha Torres next, maybe. What do you think of those? What do you think of those 2 options?
To be honest, Rebus is just fresh in. I don't really know who to call for her. Like,
I think maybe Michelle Waterson might be a good fight as well. Like, if you're really trying to build Rebus as a star, it's like back-to-back, well-known strawweights.
That's a good point. She also just like finished Paige and got her down so quickly that you didn't really get to see anything else. And also, she came with a cut off her head as well, Rebus, or a bullet in her nose, I think it was. But yeah, Paige is unfortunately going to be gone. Although she's been less showing off
Mm.
the UFC world for a while. I know she came off that injury. Yeah.
There we have it.
Yeah.
Now we have two massive strawweight clashes coming off this one. Rose Namajunas is going to fight back for the gold. She is going to fight Wei Lao Jing. I'm terrible at saying that.
Zhang.
Wei Ling Zhang.
Yeah.
I never know what to say, which name to say first. She's going to fight her for the strawweight belt. That'll probably be also on Fight Island. Be dying to see that one. Hopefully, Rose's eye heals up nice and fast. She's got a nasty China there. And Jessica Andrade should fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk again. They're the two fights I like coming off that fight. What do you think of that, Basmo?
I'd be up for that. It makes sense to have Rose fight Wei Li Zhang fresh.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, she's just better than Jessica Andrade, so that's gonna be a huge test for Wei Li Zhang. Something definitely I'm looking forward to because Wei Li is actually fucking class. I'm like call a spade there. Jessica Andrade versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Joanna is just like it. Now that she lost to Rose twice, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she lost to Wei Li.
And she lost to Shevchenko.
And she's lost to Shevchenko. Like she's.
But she beat Jessica Andrade last time she fought her.
I know, man, but it's.
And she beat Michelle Watterson.
She's almost turned into the Jose Aldo of the division, even though Jose Aldo dropped down. But you get my drift. Just sort of no man's land. You're not really going to get a title shot. But
yeah, but when she fought Wei Li Zhang for the title, it was close, and some people thought Joanna won.
Gone by looks, I don't agree with that. But yeah, I just don't know how long Joanna is going to have left in her because she was in that silk sheet category and now she's sort of forgotten about, and I'd say that's really hard to deal with going through.
Yeah, but don't think a win over Andrade gets her like right back in the mix.
Yeah, but I just don't see her holding the gold again unless some of the girls actually just retire. And she's been through a lot of battles, like whereas like Wei Li is fresh. Let's see what happens.
And then we move into the first of our title fights. Piotr Jan. I think it's sort of written in the stars that he fights Aljamain Sterling next.
How come Dana White won't confirm that, by the way? That people are going on and on and on about this. Is there a chance Henry Cejudo could come out?
I don't think it's Henry Cejudo at all. I think UFC are sneakily thinking of making Cody Garbrandt versus Piotr Jan. Those two are going back and forth a lot. And if UFC is looking to sell a few pay-per-views, I think if you put Cody Garbrandt in the pay-per-view limelight ahead of Aljamain Sterling, it probably sells a lot more.
Oh.
Look, on merit, Aljamain Sterling could not be any more the number one contender. Apparently, they're looking at doing Garbrandt versus Marlon Moraes, though, in August. I wouldn't be surprised if they did Jan versus Aljamain Sterling somewhere around the same time, maybe September. I think if you really want to give Jan the rub of the green, you wait for Khabib to come back and you put him on the same card as Khabib.
Oh,
the two Russians.
600%.
Yeah, so put the two Russians on the same card.
By the way, that fight was so good. It was such like a Muay Thai stand-up fight as well. You know, the way they were sort of like, it was just so good. Like,
as for Jose Aldo, my personal preference on Aldo would be if he fought Dominic Cruz next. Two absolute legends of the game. If he's going to stay down at bantamweight, that's what I'd like to see. The only thing is, he's 2 losses now at bantamweight, so like he has a very long road to the title, as opposed to, you know what I mean? I almost think you're better off mixing it back up at featherweight. I think we'll get to the featherweight title picture now in a minute, but I actually think there's a higher chance of someone else coming in at featherweight winning the belt that's not named Holloway or Volkanovski than there is of Jose Aldo getting another bantamweight shot.
So you'd almost like to see Aldo versus Volkanovski?
No, I'm not. No, I don't want to see Aldo versus Volkanovski, but I think he might have a faster road back to the featherweight belt than he would to the bantamweight belt.
Well, it seems like Aldo's biggest problem is going into the later rounds.
Oh, no, definitely. His cardio seems to dwindle in the later rounds, and then he's more susceptible for a knockout.
Yeah, but do you think that's because of wear and tear over time, or do you think that's because he was down at bantamweight?
I think it's a bit of both, because the same thing was sort of happened to him at featherweight. But look, we'll sort of get into the featherweight discussion. But like, he wasn't getting like KO'd in featherweight, but like come rounds 4 and 5,
You can say
if
that
there was
again.
like there was a takeover. Although Max Holloway was able to get him out of there in the late rounds as well. So it's interesting to see. Well, maybe we'll discuss the featherweight title fight, where they go next. I'd like to see Volkanovski fight the Korean Zombie. They're having a bit of beef back online now. Yeah, I think it's a good fight. I think Korean Zombie's probably overdue a title shot at this stage. He's been around for years. He went MIA because he had to go serve time in the Korean Army. And I'd like to see Max Holloway fight Zabit. And I think if Max can beat Zabit, he deserves to get back in there. If Zabit can beat Max, he deserves to be in there. I think they're the two fights to make. And again, that's what I was saying with Jose Aldo. If Korean Zombie wins the title, Jose Aldo's beaten Korean Zombie before, or if Zabit wins the title, well then Aldo could have a faster chance of getting in there against Zabit. So it's like almost like a quicker road for Aldo back to the featherweight belt than it will be the bantamweight.
Does Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie sell, first of all? And second of all, what's Max Holloway do from here?
Well, like I said, I quite like Holloway versus Zabit, and I think if he beats Zabit, he could get a trilogy fight against Volkanovski. Does Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie sell? Not really, but does Volkanovski really sell against anyone not named Max Holloway? Let's be honest about it. You know what I mean?
Well, just adding another thing. Israel Adesanya is going to be taking on Paulo Costa. Where and when, we don't know, because Dana said they could be staying there for way longer than expected, as we brought up last time. Like UFC 253 could be in fight on as well. But if it does, I think New Zealand's after opening, and they're allowing fans go to the games. So let's see what happens there. But if they brought UFC to New Zealand, I know it'll be short enough notice, but if there's a will, there's a way. I shouldn't fight all of them with short enough notice. But you could have Borshina against Adesanya, and then Volkanovski fighting on
the co-main.
On the co-main, like as you said, putting Peter Yan under Khabib, put Volkanovski under Adesanya, and then you're just building up these guys to later on go and headline themselves, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Although I do feel there's something about Volkanovski that's like not less likable. It's not that he's not likable, but I think when you beat Max Holloway, like that's, you know, people are automatically going to almost dislike you, especially in the fashion that he did it in. And then on top of that, like, he's not overly entertaining to listen to, if that makes sense. He's almost a slightly boring character. Like, as Ian was saying in the last show, he wants to go write children's books. You know what I mean? He's not exactly the enigma of charisma.
I know, I can agree, but he seems like cool crack though, you know? I don't think
true, but like, who knows? Maybe they'll do a triple header, and it'll be Khabib versus Justin Gaethje. It'll be Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, and then it'll be Volkanovski versus Zabit, and they'll try and get the 3 Russians on the one card.
Volkov. But
fighting who? Derek Lewis again?
No, not Derek Lewis. Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let me bang, bro. So, what a quote. If you're enjoying the shows, by the way, hit a like and subscribe and let us know what you bleed and think, you little rats. So, Ross, Kamaru Usman beat Masvidal by decision. One of the greatest welterweight title fights that I've ever seen. But where did both lads go from here?
Well, there's a war of words going on at the moment, and there's a good case to be made for Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards. Personally, I think I'd rather see Leon Edwards get his title shot. I think it is long overdue. Gilbert Burns has actually just capitalized each time on Leon Edwards' travel issues more than anything. Yeah. He obviously, Woodley was supposed to come over to fight Edwards in the UK. Didn't happen. Woodley had enough fighting Gilbert Burns, and then Leon Edwards was supposed to get the title shot against Usman, and then couldn't take it. And then next thing you know, Gilbert Burns getting the title shot. So Usman's next opponent is done and dusted. It's one of those two. I would prefer to see Leon Edwards get a title shot. 8 wins is much better than 4 wins. That's the 2 streaks that you have. So Leon Edwards, who I'd rather see next.
The UFC made sure to put Leon Edwards on the longest lasting win streak.
Yeah, longest win streaks.
Yeah, and like Leon Edwards is on that. Now, obviously, he's on that because he's one of the highest. So therefore,
but they made sure to show that.
They made sure to show that. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I agree. Now, after the dust is sort of settled, you're like, right, Leon Edwards versus Usman is what I want.
And then on the other side of things, Jorge Masvidal. To be honest, I'd like to see Jorge Masvidal fight Colby Covington. I want to see that piece of bad blood. It looks like they're leaning towards Covington versus Woodley. That looks like it's also going to take place in August. Probably the same card as Garbrandt and Moraes. Sounds like a good card. But I would love to see Covington versus Masvidal. I'd love to see like the press conferences. I'd love to see the trash talk. I'd love to see the face-offs. I'd just be very hyped to see that fight.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to have any of that stuff really. I think,
but I think even the videos and the beef, you know what I mean? The beef will be there one way or the other, whether it's tweets or whatever, you know what I mean? I feel like I'd be entertained.
Yeah, I agree. But like obviously the cards after going, it went over 1 million pay-per-views.
Yeah, incredible now.
Yeah, it's unreal. But I don't think Masvidal is ever going to become champ.
No, neither do I.
So therefore, I think they should take it in a different direction. He's as hot as he's ever been. I think the fight to make is Conor versus Masvidal.
Well, again, massive fight, massive pay-per-view numbers. But one thing with Conor that I now look at is, what if, obviously, Khabib's dad has passed away. What if Khabib's out for a prolonged period of time and Justin Gaethje is back on the table for Conor? And the title fight's back on the table for Conor. Which is probably a possibility.
Obviously, like, there's many possibilities, but I think Khabib would rather fight than relinquish the belt to let Conor go in and win it and then be like the champ.
No, but I'm not saying he relinquishes it. I'm saying Gaethje has to defend his interim title.
I know that's obviously a possibility. Conor's after beating Cowboy at 170. So that therefore we had the potential of having Masvidal. Masvidal stepping in on short notice. I feel he was like it was win-win. He was either A, become the champ, or B, getting a Conor McGregor fight. That's why he took the fight.
Mm.
And looking at it now, like a rematch against Usman, do you want to see that? Would things really change? No, like.
Oh no, I don't think so. But I'm saying Jorge Masvidal has made himself a big enough star now that if he got 1 or 2 wins, he could get the Usman rematch.
I know.
If that's what he wanted, he could like dictate that way.
I know.
Like if he went in there and fought Covington next and beat him and knocked him out, right? What would happen? Who knows? I think that's a closer fight than the Usman fight. Why
would you think that? Like Covington and Usman was very close.
Well, I think Usman's actually that bit bigger, so therefore he's actually that bit stronger. And I feel like Covington actually mixes up his striking that bit more with his wrestling. So I think he'd be more susceptible to actually get hit by mixing up his striking with his wrestling, as opposed to Usman only strikes to grapple. As opposed to Covington. Covington's always a bit like, like Frankie Edgar fights, as in like he mixes up his striking and his grappling very, very well. As opposed to
Covington's sort of like a snake when he fights. He's real. Sorry, I didn't mean to do last sort of dance, but he's real like.
Yeah, as opposed to I think. Also, the fact that Jorge Masvidal's trained with him, like, probably he knows 1 or 2 things that he might be weak with. Same with Covington, though. He knows what Jorge might be weak with. But I feel like that would be a closer fight. Or there'd be more opportunities for Masvidal to try and get something to get a win than there would be against Usman. Usman's, like, so safe. It's like, he's like, you're the fire, and here's the fire blanket just, like, straight over you, and it's, like, done.
Yeah. I don't think Masvidal stands a chance against Colby Covington either. I think him versus Conor at 170, and I don't know, BMF belt, whatever it is, does that still count? I don't know, but I just think that's the fight to make, because
I also think there's a good chance that it'll be Masvidal versus Nate Diaz next in a rematch as well. If they can't get the Conor fight over the line, and look, the amount of pay-per-views that sells is just like easily doing. You know what I mean?
I think Conor's definitely going to want to fight before the end of the year.
Yeah, so do I. And maybe Conor can get a fight now that they've seen Masvidal can draw a pay-per-view and Conor can draw a pay-per-view. They'll be like, right, that's the fight to make. I'll draw a pay-per-view.
I just think it is the fight to make.
Mm. But the other sort of slight argument to that also is maybe UFC might be like, right, we'll keep Conor and Jorge separate because now we have 2 pay-per-view stars. So now they get like 2 pay-per-views, if you know what I mean. So they could be like, oh, Conor versus Justin, because that will do 2 million boys. And then we'll do Diaz versus Masvidal, because that'll do 1.5 million boys. And then we can get them to fight later down the road at some stage, no matter what. Because like Justin Gaethje's not going to ever get to 2 million pay-per-view boys, but Conor versus Justin Gaethje will, if that makes sense.
So are you saying if Gaethje beats Conor and Colby Covington beats Masvidal, then you put Conor against Jorge?
Yeah, or well, like it doesn't actually really matter who wins because the Conor Jorge fight is almost always there. If that makes sense. If Conor wins against Gaethje, you can be like, I'm going to fight Jorge for the Masvidal for the BMF belt. And if Masvidal beats Covington, like they could still be like, that's the fight we're making. They can both win and still fight each other.
See, it doesn't. Well, obviously Conor's retired now, but and obviously happy belated birthday as well. But it doesn't seem like that Gaethje's really enticing him more.
Yeah, but
if that was your next fight, why would you retire? You know.
True, but I think when he retired, they were just talking about doing Gaethje Khabib.
Yeah, I know.
But like, if Gaethje's back on the table with a belt, you'd be like, right, grand, and you get to do the Khabib rematch.
I know, yeah. So what you want next, sorry, for Usman and Masvidal?
Well, Usman could retire, and I'd be happy enough with that.
That's the thing. Because he's after like just dominating now. People don't really give a shit about like people like the road with Usman Covington. More people are still in the car to see what's Masvidal's going to do next because he comes across as a fucking badass.
You know what? I want to see Usman versus Edwards, and I want to see Masvidal versus Covington. They're the 2 fights I want to see in the welterweight division. I think they both make sense, and they both have a bit of a grudge to them, and I want to see them on the same card as well.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
So are we going to look at tonight's card?
Yeah, is there anyone else you want to give a shout out on that card there for as well, bro?
Yeah, big shout out to my man Jiri, who got the knockout win over Volkan. Man, he looks so awkward, doesn't he?
Yeah. What was he doing to his wrist the whole time?
I don't actually really know. And his shots came from such awkward angles. It was bizarre is the only way I can really describe it, but it was an absolute great job by him. Got the knockout. I actually think he could fight Dominic Reyes next. I said that someone goes, what, for the title? And I was like, I don't know, but like he beat Volkan. Volkan has a what's called a split decision loss to Reyes, and like everyone else is tied up. You know what I mean? Thiago Santos fighting Glover Teixeira. Anthony Smith is fighting Rekic. You know what I mean? Like, why not? I also think him versus Johnny Walker would like be a fascinating fight to watch, style wise.
Yeah.
But that's shout out to my boy. No, I think that's it. Well, Davey Grant got the win as well. Fair play to him and the bonus.
Yeah, and Makwan Mirkan, you got the win as well.
You know, I want to see Makwan fight Bryce Mitchell. I want to see those 2 on the ground.
Let them roll, bro. Let them roll. I got written down the whole show waiting to say that. I knew you'd call that. But only goes with you. Okay, right. So
are we doing 2 cards now? Are we?
Yeah, well, like I mean, there's not massively to go into any other card to be honest, because people were here to see what the crack is for Jorge Masvidal next. But UFC Fight Night is on tonight. Kader is taking on Oig. Dan Oig against
No, Ige, man.
I know, man. It's just that's the way we pronounce it here. Like Brett Favre. That's not how you spell Favre. That's Favre.
Yeah, it's Favre.
Favre. Okay, so here, I'm just in the main event. Calvin Kattar is taking on Dan Ige for the featherweight title. What do you
Man, they're
expect
not
from this
fighting for
fight?
the featherweight title, but you go out of that.
Sorry, they're fighting in the featherweight division. What are you expecting from this fight? And then we'll go through some other other fights people should look
Yeah,
out for.
Danny Ige actually looked really, really good against Barboza. He got the job done there. It was a tight decision, but he got the nod. But I like Calvin Kattar. He's been in more 5-round fights. I think he actually is more well-rounded, and I like him to get the job done there.
Yeah, I'm going with Kattar as well on this one. Tim Elliott's here in flyweight division against Brian Benoit. Tim Elliott was like the closest person to beating Demetrius Johnson, and now he's here languishing at number 13 in the flyweight division.
Man, it's a bit of a funny fight, to be honest. And like Ryan Benoit lost the last fight, so like I don't know how they managed to make this the co-main event. And Tim Elliott's fighting for his career. He's lost his last 3 fights in the UFC. It's a strange one. To be honest, I'm going to pick Tim Elliott to get the job done. He seems to be when his back's against the wall, he can get the job done here. And he's got some very obscure submissions.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. What could be in one of the fights in the night, bar obviously the main event. Jimmy Rivera is taking on Cody Stamen.
Yeah, Stamen, look, Jesus, he didn't wait long from his last fight. Obviously, his brother there recently died, and he went out and got the job done against Brian Kelleher. He's coming back in here now. Obviously, these two are bantamweights, agreed to fight on featherweight at short notice. I like Cody to get the job done here. Jimmy is an absolute bulldozer, but I don't know. I feel like after he got KO'd by Marlon Moraes, I almost question where he's been at, because he's lost twice since to the 2 best guys in the division, Aldo and Piotr Jan.
I'm going to go with Jimmy Rivera for him. Our mate Molly McCann is fighting as well against Talia Santos.
Yeah, we're going to pick Molly McCann on that one. Get the job done. She's saying she's getting the finish, so we'll be cheering her on for that.
Yeah, exactly. SPG's John Phillips is also fighting on the card.
And Chris Fishgold.
Modestas Bukauskas, the Cage Warriors light heavyweight champion, is fighting this card as well.
You know what? I'm not joking, right, Basmo? If you got the wallet out in this and you did accumulator on Jack Shore, Bukauskas, Ricardo Ramos, Al Hassan, Molly McCann, and Calvin Kattar, I think you could win a few bob.
Nice one for people listening. Make sure to check this out. Then also, UFC is on Saturday night as well. It's actually a way better card, but it's being headlined by Jefferson Figueroa versus Joey Benavidez. Last time they fought, Figueroa missed weight, still won the fight. This one's for the flyweight title. Ross, are you expecting the same from Jefferson, or are you expecting Joey B to?
Yeah, well, I actually have heard rumors that Figueroa actually had COVID-19 and was going to have to pull out of the fight. I don't know if that's true or not. Also, I'm worried about Figueroa missing weight. But look, we'll be cheering our mate on, Joey B, to get the job done. He's just a nice guy and a legend. So, when you meet someone, you're like, that's my guy.
Yeah, no, very biased, man. But we're notoriously known for that. And the co-main event, because of what you just said there, if Devison's out, I want Joey B to win as well. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
In the co-main event,
who knows? Maybe. See Alexander Pantoja there. He was fighting on the main card.
Yeah.
He might just go, do you want to fight for the title? Yes, please. Right, you're in. You versus Benavidez.
Yeah.
At least there's another flyweight on the card. That's all I'm saying.
Pantoja previously beat Team Rhinos Neil Seary.
Yeah.
Jack Manson in the co-main event is taking on Kelvin Gastelum. Now, this is going to be a good one, Roscoe.
Yeah, definitely will be. Look, Hermanson, I think, shocked most people with his sort of meteoric rise, one might almost say. He's one of the best middleweights in the world. Kelvin Gastelum obviously went absolute toe-to-toe with Israel Adesanya. Look, when Hermanson beat Jacare, I was like, right, this fella's the real deal. But I don't know, I think Gastelum is so good everywhere that he sort of doesn't mind banging out on the feet. He's also quite good on the ground. I feel like I'm leaning towards Gastelum, but don't be absolutely shocked if you saw Jack Hermanson maybe get in a sneaky guillotine or rear naked choke. Obviously, Gastelum got choked out before by Chris Weidman, so anything is possible.
Yeah, I'm going for Gaston for this one. What a legend. That's a great fight to look forward to on the weekend. Then also Ireland's own Joe Duffy is fighting the lightweight division against Joel Alvarez. That's one.
Eddie Alvarez's cousin. Not really.
All right.
No.
And then also Wales' Brett Johns is on the card as well. Expect a submission there.
Yeah. Good calls, Basil. Good calls. And Davy Ramos is fighting a lightweight there. He's unbelievable black belt on the ground. So if you're looking to make a few bob, him for submission is always a shout.
Yeah, there's a huge representation of Europe as well. Mark DKC is on the card as well. So Ross, that sort of wraps everything up. I don't know what else you want to say. Is there anything else we sort of missed out on? Also, next week's show we'll be previewing Darren Till against Robert
Whittaker. Unbelievable.
That's
tune for that one. It's going to be incredible. We might get one or two guests on the show from now till then. Look, if you are enjoying the MMA shows, make sure to like, share, subscribe. It means a lot to us. And as always,
stay energized.
Stay energized.